Welcome back to the cardinalsports.com recruiting chat. I'm your host, David Lackford, and you guys had the questions. I got the answers as usual. So let's get right into this. So, first question of the day comes from Say No More 6588. What's the case for Deuce Robinson? How are we looking for him? Well, I'm glad you reminded me about that because I needed to change my pick. The case is that I changed my pick to Lincoln Riley and the Trojans, and that ain't happening for Louisville. Next question. Eastern Kentucky Chow says, are we looking to take best available from here on out, or are there certain position groups we are looking at? I'd say they're looking to take the best available from certain position groups. They're always looking to take the best available. Okay, so if a four-star receiver, a player that they have higher on their board is at a position that's not necessarily a position of need, they're going to take the best player. But it's a bonus if it's the best player at a position of need. So that's the answer to that. Vincent74 says, what's up with Jacob Lacey? Jacob Lacey is from South Warren, which is out in Western Kentucky. He committed to Notre Dame, didn't play very much there. He's put his name in the transfer portal. I've been hearing Kentucky for him, but I don't know. I haven't really spoken with any of my sources at Kentucky. I haven't heard his name brought up with Louisville at all. I don't think I don't know. I know he liked Louisville back in the day, but I don't know if Louisville is going to take him or not. So that's one to keep my eye on, I guess, but I don't think that he's going to come to Louisville, but I'll double check on that. Cards fan 0197. Do you think DeAndre Moore sticks with his Louisville commitment? Good question. From all the people I've spoken to locally, yeah, I think that he'll stick to his commitment. However, that's just now. He's visiting Texas, I believe, and I believe he's visiting Georgia. These are going to be official visits. This all comes down to NIL. You know, Moore's having a good season. These other coaching staff, they're still on him. I know Brendan Marion at Texas really likes Moore. I know they probably have a couple other targets they're trying to get as well. So that's going to be one to monitor going forward. Money talks. Everything else floats on water. So if they're coming with higher NIL dollars, all bets are off. But from the people I've spoken to, they're saying that they'd be surprised. He's been adamant with other people that he's just taking these visits to see what's out there, that he's firm with Louisville. But, that sounds contradictory and stupid to me. You know what I mean? It's double talk. My girl's like, yo, I'm just going to take a couple dates with some other guys, but I still love you, baby. I'm be like, you know what? You got them. I'm going to go out here and you're done. Don't call me no more. So, but it's football. It's a different breed, nobody's faithful out here, coaches included. Money talks, people walk. So we're going to find out. But right now, I've been told everything's cool. Could be a little delusional. I don't know. But he's taking the visits. So use your own intelligence. You know what I mean? You don't need a weatherman to tell you which way the wind's blowing, right? All right, let's take a look at some other people's questions here. TPA Cards fan, considering Pierce Clarkson's clothing line. Okay, all right, let's calm down with the clothing line. They're T-shirts, all right? It's not a clothing line. He's not selling bomber jackets and overalls and jeans. He doesn't have he don't got a pair of Pierce Clarkson Flyville sneakers coming out, right? So let's dial that back. Just considering Pierce Clarkson's T-shirt line, regardless of what happens to Sat, does he stick with U of L and then keep most of, quote unquote, his recruits as well? All right, a lot to break down there. First of all, December's coming up and he's signing in December, right? So the Flyville 23 stuff is relevant for another 2 months. I don't think the clothing line matters. Also, regardless of what happens to Sat, does he stick with U of L and then keep all those recruits? I've already answered this question in the Fact and Fiction with Adam Freeman. And my take on that is this, all right? They're getting a lot of NIL consideration, right? This is the new era of college football. This is what it is now, all right? So the coaching staff can leave, but these people are going to have some feedback into who they want to be the coach, right? So let's say they go out and they hire Clint Hurt or Vance Joseph or Brian or Jeff Brom or whoever, right? As long as they approve of it and the money's still there, why wouldn't they come? It's not like Scott Satterfield was out here setting the world on fire in the recruiting trail ever in his life, right? So all of a sudden you got this NIL money coming along, and now they got a top 20, 25 recruiting class in the country. Do the math, right? So I don't think that if he gets fired, this whole class falls apart unless the money falls apart. And that goes for if he stays, right? I've been told this is how a lot of the NIL stuff works. And this isn't coming from any coaches. This is coming from my people on street level, okay? This comes from the movers and shakers, the people who got the money, who form these collectives, right? A lot of times, the assistant coaches have to go out and find the Tony Morlinos or whatever, whoever it is, the Hammer. I don't know that these people are boosters. I'm just throwing names out there. Whatever company it is, they say, look, we need NIL ad money. We need you to give these kids advertising deals for your stuff, right? So each position coach or whatever, they have to generate this income. They got to go out and fundraise, crowdsource, whatever you want to call it, and then that's where the money comes from these advertisers, right? That's what all NIL is. It's name, image, and likeness. Okay, so that's the way it's done. These coaches leave, however, the NIL money might go with them. I don't know how the NIL money has been procured specifically to Louisville. All right, but I do know there's been other schools that have promised the NIL money. Kid shows up on campus, they ain't getting the NIL money all of a sudden because that coach is going, and now the new coach is scrambling trying to get new deals, right? All this stuff. This is what I've been told. I don't know that that's how that's going to work here with Louisville. I don't know that there are specifics, right? But I do know this. This staff was never known for going out here and getting kids from California, 4 stars, high 4 stars. Ruben Owens is basically a 5-star. If he's on the cusp of being a 5-star, the only reason he's not is because rivals don't like putting running backs as 5 stars, because a 5-star means you're a high school player they project to go in the first round of the NFL draft. Typically, there's 1 or 2 running backs maybe that get drafted in the first round every year, so they try to limit the number of running backs. So that's why Ruben Owens is not a 5-star. When was Louisville ever recruiting people like that? Never. Okay, what's the new factor here at work? It's the NIL money, right? So as long as the NIL money stays, you can have whatever. I could be the coach next year, and if Ruben Owens is getting his X, then X marks the spot. He's coming, right? And that brings up another question in my mind too. Oh, do the coaches get to say who plays for them anymore? I mean, the transfer portal's out there, so kid doesn't get his money. He's like, all right, you got till, X date to I'll get paid, or else I'll hit the portal and I'll hit the market again, see if I can recoup what I've lost here, right? Now, kid might have a bad year. Kid might lose market value. Kid might be stuck, right? But they might have a good year, ante up, re-up. I don't know what the contracts look like. Some of them I've seen have been for very short periods of time. It's not like, all right, over 3 years, you're going to get XXX with boosters and all of this other thing, accelerators, all these things. That's not what I've seen in some of these contracts. And I happen to be an attorney. Sometimes I do contract work. I try not to, but people send me stuff, all right? Long-winded way of saying, I think as long as the money's right and the new coach that comes in is serviceable, if these people don't have any strong objections to the coach, I think the class shall survive. All right. Next question. What happens when coaching change comes? Some of these kids committed to the city/market, or is that wishful thinking? No one's committed to the city of Louisville. They're committed to the NIL deal. Right. So I answered that question, Shonda. Cardinal Cash, is the entire class in jeopardy based on the performance? Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm not sharing the screen with y'all. My bad. All right. Is the entire class in jeopardy based on the performance of the team and potential coaching change? Who could we realistically hold on to with the coaching change? Does it matter who we go with? I answered that question as well. I don't think the performance of the team really matters that much, especially when you got young kids coming in who are going to take the spots of underperforming players on the way out. They're just saying, all right, cool, I could do that. I'm better than that. You know, these aren't kids that are insecure and unsure of their prowess. These kids are delusional. They all think they're going to the NFL, right? They all think they're ready to go. Now, once they get here on campus and they actually see it up close, it's a little different. But for now, I think the kid's going to look at an underperforming player and say, I'll take that spot. Cool. The coaching change, I've explained that. And who could we realistically hold on to a coaching change? Like I said, who you pay. And I don't really, I think it does matter who they go with to an extent, right? If the decision makers don't like the hire, they're probably going to look elsewhere. But this is a hypothetical. Who knows? Satterfield might, I mean, everybody thinks that Satterfield is going to get fired, but he keeps surviving, man. He's Rasputin. All right. Card for Life 32. Rank guys to worry about. Open it up before signing day. I don't do rankings, man. Stanquan Clark, Green, AJ Green, or DeAndre Moore. I mean, I put DeAndre Moore up there simply because he's taking official visits to other schools with a lot of money. So that's possible. Oh, yeah. So I actually Card for Life 32. I was asking around because of this. Okay. It's a good question, right? I just don't like rank stuff because then I look like a dick. But I've been talking to a guy in Florida, right? And I'm like, what's up with the Florida kids? Because I actually asked about Stan Quan. He was like, I don't know about Stan Quan, seems solid. However, he said that he went to a couple of IMG games and he told me that Jordan Church isn't starting down there. So that's a red flag for me. So keep an eye out on Jordan Church because he's not starting for IMG. And if you're not starting in high school, do the math on that one. Who else? I think I haven't heard anything. And like I said, from my sources around, my local sources are telling me that they think everybody's cool right now. Okay. I mean, there's some concern with DeAndre Moore, but it's not like DEFCON 1, right? It's like, all right, I think we're good, but they're keeping an eye on things. They'd be surprised if he flipped, even though he's going to Georgia and he's going to Texas. In my mind, that means, look, we're going to match. We got the ability to match, right? And keep in mind that there aren't a lot of NIL promises out there to other players right now with Louisville. I mean, Malik was the one guy, but he's leaving. So, I mean, there's going to be money freed up. All right. CPren11 says, which assistants are most key for holding the recruiting class together? For example, if Lance Taylor is kept, will the offensive guys be more likely to stay on? Again, I mean, if they operate the way that I've been told, which is that the assistant coaches have to go out and generate funding for these NIL deals, then I would say whatever coach is responsible for generating that is the one that's going to have the most impact on who leaves. Because if he leaves and the money leaves, then the kid leaves, right? I would say Pete Thomas, if we're just operating off the old standard, is probably the most consequential because he's been here the longest. He's the one out there who really got the Clarksons on board, and then everybody else kind of domino effect comes along with that. So I'd say Pete Thomas, honestly, would probably be the number one guy, but that's a guess. That's my hypothesis on that. I think as long as the money stays, it don't matter who the coach is. All right, cards first. Well, there seems to be a trend, and I don't know what that is. That's a comment, not a question. Can y'all not have conversations in here? This is the recruiting chat. I know you're supposed to chat is chat, but the chat is you ask me a question. I'm going to call it question and answer next time. Change it from the chat. All right. We saw cards 1189. We saw them single out Pierce and some Cali guys early in the 23 class as a major priority over others. Who are some of the 24 class that you see a step above them? The others in regards to priority for the staff. Okay, so that's John Bosco, that's California, that's Pierce Clarkson, Steve Clarkson's his father. He's a major influence out that way. There's some other guys that are behind the scenes. I'm not going to get into their names, but there isn't someone like that now. However, there is Peyton Woodward, who is at St. John Bosco. He visited Louisville last year in November. I thought he visited this year, but maybe he didn't make it. He's a big one. He's the 17th ranked player in the 24 class. He's a high 4-star, number 3 in the state, number 1 safety in the country. They need safeties, that's what they say every year. Although my boy MJ Griffin looked good against Virginia, and they finally started him. So hopefully he holds on to that spot the rest of the year because he made an impact in the second half. So I'd say he's probably the bell cow, right? Because he's down with Clarkson, he's down with Pierce. And I think that he's the most, he got the most sway over other recruits because of his status, right? So I'd say watch out for him. Another kid is also Woodward's teammate at St. John Bosco, Marcellus Williams. He's another kid the staff's targeting hard. I don't know that he's made a visit here. I thought he did. I can't remember because I probably didn't. I should have entered that if he did, but he's one as well. Some other, obviously, Isaac Brown. He's running back from Homestead. He's the a diminutive guy, but he's fast, he's versatile, and he's stocky for being short, right? So he's muscular, he's got some size, he got some shock absorbers, so he's a guy to watch. JT Haskins is another name I heard, but he doesn't really have the influence like that. He's out in Bryan Station. Sean Boykins is another guy that I know that they're prioritizing. He's from North Hardin out in Radcliffe. Shout out to Brent Thompson. Sorry, I haven't been at your games this year, but y'all don't send anybody to Louisville, so I ain't going out there and freezing in the cold. Tyler Scott is another player I'm told to watch out for. Actually, no, he's a 23 kid. My bad. I'm more on him in a minute, though, because I'm going to talk about the visitors weekend coming up here. So those are the guys that I heard a lot about in the 24 class. So I'd say Woodyard would be the bell cow. He would be the equivalent of Pierce Clarkson. So you might see more of a defensive lead. You might see more of a defensive flavor in this new recruiting class for 24. 6 shoot 77 says any transfers that may be coming U of L's way. I don't know. Any visitors may be coming in town for these next few home games. Glad you asked. Let me find it on here real quick. Here we go. All right. So I just got off the horn with some sources, right? I'm told that all these players are coming. Okay. And also Sean Russ, who's a 4-star corner from Dunbar, he's going to be visiting with Jordan Church. So that's a new name. I don't know where Louisville is on his pecking order, and I don't know where he is on Louisville's pecking order, talking about Sean Russ, but he is visiting this weekend with Jordan Church. So breaking news. Other guys that are coming, Harkless said he's going to come. We don't know. He's committed to Auburn. He's from Frederick Douglass in Lexington. They really don't send football players here, although we do have a baseball commit who I was told is not really being considered to play football like that, but he's a good baseball player. Chance Fitzgerald, he's a 6'3" wide receiver from Nolensville, Tennessee. He's a take. Tyler Scott is a 6'2" cornerback from Georgia. He's a take for sure. And then there's Edwin Joseph, who's a wide receiver from Hollywood, Florida. I never know how to say that name. I think it's Chaminade, but I'm not sure. But he's also a take. So 1, 2, 3 uncommitted 2023 kids will be visiting this weekend. I'm told that they're all supposed to come, right? However, sometimes they flake, right? Now, the 24 targets, that's the real deal. TJ Capers, 5-star, number 6 player in the 2024 class. He told the staff he's coming, right? And he also told the staff he was coming before, but then he flaked out and visited, I think Michigan State or Mississippi State. I don't know. The text I got was MSU. I don't remember which one it was. But he was supposed to come. He told the staff he was coming. Ghost. But he did say he's coming this week, so we'll see. The kid on this list right here that's the most interesting to me, and I know you guys want defensive linemen, so you're going to say, of course, it's either Capers or Stevenson, even though Capers is an outside linebacker. Dwight Phillips, and Dwight Phillips is the most exciting to me because he runs a 10-4 in a 100-yard dash, which is blazing fast, and he's not just a track kid. He's a football player. He's got the wiggle. You know what I mean? So be on the lookout for him. Samaj Jones is a dual threat quarterback from St. Joe's in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. That's right up the street from me on Girard Ave, where I used to live. And he is bringing with him 2 receivers. He is bringing David Washington, who was a 4-star in the 2024 class. That's a new name, by the way. And Brandon Riemann, I guess that's how you say that. Who's also a 6'1" wide receiver. He's a 5.7. Right here, you can see his offer list. Not bad. He's got the local offers too. He's got Penn State, he's got Pitt, he's got Maryland, right? I guess, yeah, that's pretty much the Penn State is the big home school up there in Pennsylvania, of course, followed by Pitt, right? And then I'm surprised Temple hasn't offered. But you see he's got Louisville and Kentucky as well. So keep an eye out for these kids right here. I would say there's a priority on these Philly kids to the extent that there is for the other ones I named with Woodward and Brown and Williams and Haskins. All right. And Sean Boykins as well. So there we go. Let's see. CC with a big 3. Do we have any idea what positions we might target in the transfer portal market at the end of the season, or will we have to wait to the end of the season to get an idea? A lot of end of the season stuff there. Yeah, we're gonna have to wait till the end of the season because other kids are going to transfer out, and then you're going to know who's coming in as a freshman and all that good stuff. Have I heard anything about Ruben Bain lately? Is CC? The answer to your question is I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with the transfer portal at this point in time. That's kind of like an end of the season deal, right? Ruben Bain. Let me check something real quick on here. Bear with me. Ooh, no, I haven't heard anything about him for a minute. I mean, I figure the kid's gonna go to Miami. If he don't go to Miami, then he'll probably stay in state. I don't know, man. I don't think he's coming to Louisville, put it that way. But he's in their top whatever. I know there's like Alabama in there. I think Georgia. I mean, I don't know. It's tough sledding in that competition right there. But I mean, they got Ruben Owens, they got DeAndre Moore, they got Aaron Williams. So who knows? Stepren 11 feels like 29 Flyville questions will be tough to come by. Yeah, I mean, we're getting there. Any new secondary or linebacker targets? Yeah, Tyler Scott. He's a new name to watch in the secondary. I think they're good at linebacker. After getting Clark, they'll probably actually. I would expect them to go transfer portal at linebacker. There you go. There's an answer to your question. And I probably expect them to go wide receiver in the transfer portal as well, because the wide receivers have been underwhelming this year. So they'll probably look for some immediate help. So there you go. But that's just off the head. I don't know that for sure. Who are the guys that will stick no matter what? The guys that will stick no matter what are the ones who don't have options anywhere else. They will stick. And the ones who get the biggest NIL checks. I don't know. I expect Pierce Clarkson to stick no matter what. So how about that? Would Pierce Clarkson work well in Jeff Brom's system? LOL, just joking, kinda. I don't know. I stopped watching Purdue after Rondale went pro. I don't know what they do out there anymore. But I would say if they get a short receiver where they could just throw middle screens all day, sure, any quarterback would work in that system. Armac. I don't know. He's making comments. Say no more. Another comment. Cards rule the world. When will Ruben Bain be taking his OV to U of L? When does he pull the trigger and commit to the Cards? I did see that he's going to take an official visit. Don't know when though. So, and you asked this question on October 12th. I should have done the research, but I haven't looked at this in a minute because I've been busy. Here's the article where I talk about whether or not this class falls apart. And let's see, since there's no more questions after that. I don't know when Ruben Bain's taking his official visit, but I don't expect him to commit to Louisville. All right. So if Louisville gets rid of Scott Satterfield, its impressive recruiting class will fall apart. I said fiction. Friedman says fact. And then Friedman's basically saying that if the staff gets fired, then the NIL budgets will come call in for these recruits. I don't think it matters. I think the big NIL budgets take the little NIL budgets. Big bank takes little bank all day, every day, right? So if they decide they want a player, it's not like they're going to be like, oh man, I really want to get Ruben Owens, but Scott Satterfield's such a nice guy and he's still there. I don't want to steal his recruit. No, that's not how it works. And Adam, you knew this. So I highly doubt that it matters. If Texas A&M wants to drop $100,000 more than Louisville wants to drop, then he's going to go to Texas A&M. I mean, that's just what I think. And don't tell me about his tattoos. You can get tattoos covered up. He can get a deal with a tattoo removal service to laser that shit off. So nah. So I don't think it matters what happens with the coach staff as long as the money stays. And that's what I basically said. I'm sitting here talking about they've only signed 4 4-stars from 2019 to 2022. So that's 1 4-star a year. And then I think one of the 4-stars never even made it. It was that Mortimer kid, right? And then they had Jyre Williams, who would make 5, but they didn't sign him because he didn't qualify. So 3 4-stars have come to campus in 4 years, right? So now all of a sudden they got a top 25 class, and that's because of the NIL money. I mean, it's obvious, right? What are we talking about here? So I said the 4-stars committed to Louisville aren't committed to the allure of the coaching staff. They're committed to the dollars, the zeros on those deals, right? So, I mean, that's the end of it right there for me. That's the bottom line. If the money stays right, then I think this class stays together. If the money goes away when the coaches go away, which I can't see happening unless they operate under that scenario I told you about before, where each coach goes out and grabs the donations or the pledges or the deals, and then that money adds up, and then that's how the kids get their money, perhaps. But I don't think that's how they're doing it. I think it's a different type of collective. So that's it. That's all your questions that I answered. I threw in a little bit of extra stuff in there on the visitors, the new visitors, the kids from Philly, so on and so forth. So big game against Pitt this weekend. We'll see what happens. A win would be nice, but again, if they lose, don't think, oh, the class is falling apart, because I think it all comes down to the money, man. It's all about the money. So thanks for tuning in. Until next time, peace.